Fishyaker.com, the original kayak rigging video series.
Hey guys, I use all sorts of different types of rods and reels, different combinations for the different types of fishing that I'm doing. Well, I love using spinning gear, especially when I'm throwing smaller lures, working for smaller species of fish. I want to have a lot of finesse and sensitivity when I'm working a lure, or if I'm simply using smaller diameter line, spinning reels come in really handy. That being said, there are some very common problems you're going to have with spinning tackle. Primarily line twist, looping your line, and knotting, especially if you're using braid like I typically do. There's one quick, easy, basic technique that you can use to minimize the chances of getting those nasty knots in your line that's going to mess up a day on the water because you'll be picking out knots instead of casting. Well, a lot of us are already doing it. But obviously, when you're casting a spinning rod, you flip the bail, you can cast it, pretty simple, but when you decide to reel it in, most people simply turn the crank, turn the arm, and it automatically closes the bail, and you can reel, you can work your lure, whatever you want to do with it. Well, that's a really nice, cool feature. Usually works really well, but on occasion when you're doing that, you're going to get loops around your spool, and you're going to get those nasty knots in it. All you need to do is kind of retrain yourself. Once you've cast it out, once you've let your line out, instead of automatically cranking and closing the bail, automatically, manually flip the bail and start reeling in. That's all it takes. For me personally, when I've cast it out, especially I'm trying to find a specific location and I'm trying to target cast, as soon as the line hits the water, that's when I'm manually closing the bail and I'm reeling it in. Keep in mind what causes backlashes, what causes these loops in your spinning reels, what causes backlash in a conventional or bait casting reel. Think about when you're casting out. Once your line hits the water, it's sending out, a backlash down your line. So basically the line is taut, the line has tension on it. Once it hits the water, that line is going to loosen up. You're not going to have the tension on it. It's going to work its way down the line, and it's going to cause that looping. So what I do as soon as it hits the water, that's when I typically close the bail, or if I need it to sink further, I'm often using a heavier weight on it anyway, a bigger lure, and I'll let it sink. But I try to minimize how loose the line is getting. I'm always trying to keep some type of tension on it right when it hits the water, and I'm visibly watching the reel to make sure I'm not getting loops in it. But really all you need to keep in mind is when you're casting out, instead of simply turning the handle and cranking it to close the bail, take your hand and flip it closed. The side effect of that also, you're going to actually, it's going to help your wear and tear on your reel because you're causing your gears to activate the springs inside the bail and close the bail anyway. It might make your reel last a little bit longer. It'll become second nature for you eventually. So keep this tip in mind. Next time you're going out and you're casting and you're fishing with spinning gear, just use your hand to close that bail instead of having it automatically closed when you turn on the handle. Hope this tip helps you out. As always, please subscribe to the Fishyaker YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and we'll catch you on the water.